Today, the challenge is simple. Complete Hitman 2 without leaving a shred of evidence. No bullet holes, no blood, and most challenging of all, no bodies found. I'm not talking about just putting them in closets. I want my targets to completely disappear, which is gonna be much easier said than done. We'll start out with the easier missions and we'll finish with the hardest. But before that, I got a plushie now. I really like this thing. I'm not even doing the sponsor voice. It's like a little onion guy. He's got a suit with a barcode on the back of his head. Has he killed people? That's not important. What's important is you can get him now at u2s.com. Here's what one looks like in person. The quality's great. It looks exactly like it does online. If you want a late Christmas present, go for it. Help support the channel, yada yada. It's a cute plushie. Buy it if you want. Forgot to mention, once they sell out, they're gone for good. So get them while you can. Anyways, back to the video. The first and definitely easiest map is going to be Santa Fortuna. Here, I started out by targeting Jorge Franco, who lives in the cocaine fields in the corner of the map. The main challenge with him was actually getting to him. If I leave solid objects as distractions, that would be evidence I was there. But luckily, thanks to the peekaboo method, I can stand up for a short amount of time just in the vision of a guard before ducking back down. This will cause the guard to think they saw something and investigate the area. I can also throw certain items that totally vanish upon being thrown, like apricots for instance, allowing me to sneak past the two guards that are outside of his facility. Once in, honestly, he was super easy. I bring out the main weapon this run is going to utilize, a seeker, which is just a dart that makes people sick. And as he walks through the tall grass to go find somewhere to puke, I can suffocate him and dump his body in the river he's standing right next to. Perfect, body's disposed of, first target done. Now onto the other target, Rico Delgado, who lives in a nearby mansion. He might be even easier. By sneaking around the guards and getting to the back of his mansion, he has a hippo back here. By feeding the hippo a piece of meat on a shelf, his trainer will go bring my target over here and he'll get alone time with the hippo. I literally just push him into the hippo enclosure and the hippo does the rest of the work for me. That's 2 kills done. Easy. Finally for the third target, Andrea, was honestly just as easy. Sneak into her house, hit her with the last poison dart, and dump her body out the window straight into the river, take the bus on out of there. Super easy mission. Next up was Whittleton Creek, and here things got a little trickier. I had to collect evidence to finish the mission, which was a little rough. I borrowed a shovel to dig up a cigar box. I put the shovel back so it looks like it just fell over. I then swiped a photograph from my target's basement, which is sort of leaving evidence, but it's just a random old photograph, not too bad. And for the last one, I swiped some legal documents from a shed with an open window, but those could have just blown away. Anyways, on to the actual kills. I snuck into my first target's house, who's like an old guy, and I used a lockpick as to not damage the door or locks. And from there, getting into the basement was pretty easy. At that point, getting my target wasn't too bad. I can snipe him with a sick dart without him or his guard noticing, and I can knock him out once again while he goes to puke. His guard doesn't stay with him while he throws up, and he just sort of stands vaguely outside, which lets me take him to the basement pretty easily. Once I'm down here, I can open a secret door by changing where these statues are placed and drag Janus all the way to his neighbor's house, out to the river where he will sink and rot. Unfortunately, I can't close that secret door behind me, which is evidence, but the only reason I had to do that is because when I was dragging his body to the backyard staircase, someone kept spotting me through the floor. So can we just call it a wash? Because that's dumb. The next target was a bigger problem due to a fun mechanic, and the one that will be the main roadblock of our run. Many Hitman 2 targets have psychic guards. So if I KO a target and drag their body away, the guard will always find it, no matter how far I go. I don't know if it's just in Hitman 2, I don't think it's in Hitman 3, but I digress. This is where the second most important tool of the run comes in, the banana. Think about it. If I can knock people out by making them look like they slipped on a banana peel, where's the evidence? If I make my next target sick and then put a banana peel right behind him as he walks in the bathroom, his guard slips and falls on it, allowing me to safely drag my target's body right out to the river. With that, mission 2 complete. Third on the list was Mumbai. This one was a pain, but not quite as bad as I thought it would be. The first target wasn't a huge problem. He's this guy who's like a Bollywood actor and lives at the top of a building, but by distracting his guard with a brick, which disappears when I throw it, and just knocking him out, I can throw him down into some liquid cement, and there is no way he's getting found there. The next two were not super easy. The first of these two was a guy who I had to find because the game doesn't actually tell me who he is. It's different every time, but finding him is honestly pretty trivial. I can sneak up to this building and press a button next to the world's worst guards, which raises a flag, causing him to come change in this room where I can knock him out. From here, this is the hard part, I had to slowly drag him across the entire map, occasionally distracting people when necessary before dumping him in the ocean where his body sinks. I make that sound easy, but it is an extraordinarily tedious process of getting spotted, throwing distractions, testing exactly when the right timing is. Just this target alone probably took me a good hour. And the final target was the hardest. Not because she's actually probably the hardest. The main reason is because I thought I could never get her to leave her rail yard, but eventually I just happened to emetic her in a way where she just goes outside. It had been a lot of thinking that that was impossible, so that was a little frustrating to discover. At that point, I could just use the banana trick to get rid of her bodyguard, which for some reason is like just some lady, and then dragged her through the bushes to dump her in the fire of a nearby blacksmith hut. That was that from Mumbai. Honestly, not as bad as I thought. Now for the second to last mission, and here things are really gonna get dicey. The Isle of Scale. 2 targets, both with fairly small paths that don't really wander around too much, each with personal guards, and a map completely covered in NPCs. This time around, a disguise was absolutely necessary, but that's not going to be easy to get without leaving evidence. Luckily, this mission takes place on an island with lots of cliffs, so by making my way to this guard, I can KO him and drag his body to a storage room. This is a pretty normal place for clothes to be, making it less suspicious for my clothes to be here, and less likely to be found. I then kick his body off the cliff and shoot at it to knock it into the water to hide any evidence. Yes, those are bullet holes, but no one heard the gunshot, and who the hell is gonna check the side of a cliff? Anyways, that's a nice disguise that I have, but my targets are still an issue. They're 2 twins, and for the first twin, I can make her sick, but she just goes to puke inside, and I can't get her body out of the bathroom once she does. But luckily, this game has toilet tech. If I use an emetic grenade to make a different guard sick, he'll go occupy the inside toilet, meaning my target is forced to throw up outside on the side of a cliff. Once she goes to do that, by very not suspiciously body blocking her guard to keep him away, I can kick her off into the water. Wait, no, actually, she kind of got stuck on the side. Let me just shoot her. All right, there we go. Perfect. I made sure to pick up all of her belongings, so that target was a little annoying, but not the worst. The next target was obnoxious, and not even in like the fun, strategic way obnoxious, in like the I need to do like perfect inputs to make this work. The only place to knock her out is on this tiny staircase. Here's pretty much the order of operations I gotta do. I have to shoot her, place a banana for her personal bodyguard. As the bodyguard slips on the banana, I immediately start knocking her out so he doesn't see, before immediately tossing a muffin to distract a guard who hears the struggle, but him seeing the muffin will make him forget that he heard anything. Before dragging her outside perfectly against the wall to avoid being spotted by anyone in the party, before dumping her over the railing for the win. To top it all off, there is a sizable chance that multiple people just see me doing this directly through the wall. So an infuriating number of tries later, I'm in the clear, and the mission is complete. Now for the last mission. Miami. This was a pain, because this was one of the only maps, similar to Scale, with 2 targets who each have their own psychic guard. And I only get 1 banana. The only time I could knock him out and actually be able to do something with his body is when he's alone on a balcony. He does have a guard who will hear me shoot the sick dart, but when he goes to check out where I'm standing, I already left a banana peel there, so he just falls over. Now that I had my target down on the ground, getting him outside was extremely difficult. I mean, we are 3 stories up in a building, and if I toss his body over pretty much any side, it's gonna land in bushes that I can't get him out of, and that's not exactly a super hidden spot. I disabled the cameras just by typing instead of like shooting it, because, you know, evidence, which allowed me to have a little bit more leeway. This turned out to be absolutely necessary, because the only way to get my target down was to take him down a staircase usually watched by cameras all the way to the parking garage. The problem now is that there are 3 different guards here who will all see me if I just start dragging this guy's body out and about. Can't distract him with like gunshots or explosions or anything, so I had to come up with a new solution. I grabbed the gun off my target's bodyguard and placed both it and my dart gun in the vision of the 2 guards who apparently don't see me doing it, before messing with the power to distract the 3rd guard. This buys me just enough time to drag my target out the door into the tunnel before retrieving everything I placed and putting the gun back. there's a little bit of anecdotal evidence, but hey, don't worry, it's gonna get worse. I dumped this guy's body into the ocean and it sinks, but his daughter, my next target, was a much bigger problem. After her race ends, I can make her sick where she vomits in a guard's office with her psychic guard, which is also just some lady. And this is where the run broke me. There is no way to get her to be sick anywhere else. It will always result in her going to an extremely crowded bathroom, so this was the best I could get. Due to her psychic guard, she will always find the body. The psychic guard needed to go. I had no choice but to dispose of her. I staged a suicide by knocking her out and dumping her body out the window, before dragging my target down the stairs and across the entire map. With lots of patience, I got her to an overpass without being noticed, and encountered another psychic. This guy in charge of the camera just turns around whenever I walk behind him, no matter what I do. At this point, my hands were bloody and the situation was not great. I staged another suicide. There was no other way I could go. This let me get to the ocean and dump her body, which, seems like a little bit of a suspicious disappearance. I mean, a father and daughter both disappearing while two people offed themselves the same day is, not great. But my only other option was to dump her in the sewers, which wouldn't exactly be hard to find. So that is as close as you can get to beating Hitman 2 without leaving a shred of evidence. That's all. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more. I'll be live on Twitch doing my next challenge. See you next time.